Alright, hope everybody is having a good day. I wanted to do a video on my record collection and the progress I'm making on it. And one of the things that every collector goes through, and I've seen several videos of this recently, how do they take care of this, is how do you manage your collection. And I'll show you some of the steps that I'm doing to manage my collection. That's not the reason entirely I'm making this video, but I did have kind of an aha moment. You know, everybody's still learning the ins and outs of the website Discogs, and that's what we use for cataloging our collection in some ways here. So what I usually do is I started out using Discogs by marking, when I first started, I would mark the records that I purchased on that website. But I have a new, account or what have you, so but I didn't have very much marked off, if anything. And I only really want to put on there things that I feel like that I'm going to keep forever. Other records are floating in and out of here, different copies and different this and that. And so what I want to do here is share with you some of the things that I have done recently. So recently I watched some videos on how to manage and maintain and purge records from your collection. And what do you do with it when nobody no longer wants it? I want to kind of curate my collection a little bit to have like stuff that I picked out on the web, and not like these kind of spur of the moment type of things you find at a thrift store. Meaning like I see some neat things there and I say, oh, these are kind of cool. I like the cover, I'm going to grab them, but they were never on any kind of radar or checklist, if that makes any sense. And some of those have just got to go, so I've got about 20 for various reasons, whether they're scratched, super common, I don't listen to them, or at the moment I just, I have too many dollar type records. But unfortunately there's only 20 of them, and these are all in my overflow section more or less. So, and there are a couple that came off the actual shelves. And so really they did not take up any space, and everybody has overflow sections and they know all this. It's usually some of the newest that have to go, and it's really hard to pull some of the oldest records off your shelves. Some of these I may have never listened to in my entire lifetime, brand new factory sealed, that sort of thing. And I have actually opened up a couple of sealed records. That's a big thing in the record vinyl communities, is opening up sealed records these days. Finding out if they're still worth the money, seeing what you get, and mixed results in some cases. So what I did was I went to Discogs yesterday, and I'm floating that back between them and eBay on a couple of titles that I'm kind of looking for. Here it just happens to be, you will not be able to see anything on the screen, so I'll have to move the camera closer from when we need to do that. This just happens to be one of the titles that I was researching here. Again, it's a brown title, but it looks like it's bright white. From my camera perspective here, so it's a brown title there and with a deep blue there. So that's one of the ones that I was looking at here. I'm sorry for the shaky camera, but this is super early, and I had this video already working better last night, but the battery crashed. So let's get out of this one here. And my problem is a lot of the covers are very, very similar to that. I'll show you that in just a second here. Let's get out of this one here. But one of the things I was doing is I need a checklist, and I couldn't find any way of making a checklist, putting anything together. And because I was collecting what we call 12 inches, more or less, let's go back to the original screen here, we'll go back to that here. Here's the Paul Van Dyke Another Way / Avenue. So this one here is relatively easy to find, but there were different cover variations, so I had to make sure that this one went into the correct one here. And I looked at the number on the actual record, matched it up, and sometimes the numbers help you and get you close. And then you had to do your homework, figure out which one this is here. And I was able to check that one off very, very quickly and very easily. So that was that one there. Then I have another one here. And again, some of these artists have multiple recordings with that particular label there. So you see here's a nice purple one here. And then this is Aspekt Mobetta / something else. So there's that one there. And there's the back of it. Now I have to make sure that I don't mark off that this is the white label promo, which it isn't. And the funny thing is that as good as the information may be, you also have to double check and make sure the information is correct that's already loaded into the database. Sometimes you'll have a variant that is not there, but for all intents and purposes, I want to make sure that I don't double purchase things, because the time that I get lazy and purchase a record there and then find out that I already have Aspekt Again, some of the pictures also, like the last one I just showed you here, that brown and that blue there, you may go to that particular title there and find out that it's a white cover instead of that brown one, and that was just maybe for the digital release, maybe perhaps, and not the physical release, if that makes sense. I have one and I don't remember which one it was. It's Eunice Hamo Cocktail Bar Original and Ben Macklin mixes. So this one here, I've shown all these before here, but again, this is another one that I have. I was able to get that one in my little database here for the time being, provided I don't lose my account. Always want to make sure you maintain your account, because some websites like Discogs make it very, very difficult to get in here. Supermodels from Paris, Keep On, that one there, and these are very, very similar covers, so just slightly different in each way. Then we have the Michael Cassette, Winter, and Cyan Child. And again, I don't get these very often, but I do find a used copy, because for all intents and purposes, every one of these are going to be very, very used. I mean, what I mean by very used is that a lot of these came out in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, 2010 or so. There's Zeppelin and David and Michael Cassette, and I think that one might have had the different color cover in the database. Much nicer than this white and gray there, but and then we have this one here. Last one here is Stephen J. Cruz, and again, Stephen J. Cruz has several listings there, and I want to make sure I don't buy Sadistic anymore by Stephen J. Cruz, if you can see that right there. So I was like, well, what do I do? How do I figure this one out here? So I was able to go and see, like here, Chunk and Twist Battery Live / the UK Sound. Find a format here. Hopefully you can see much of this here. Find a format. You can go to Promo 12-inch CDR vinyl file, like as in digital file, limited edition, MP3, and white label. So I click the 12-inch section here, and it tells me all these different things about the 12-inch releases. And I clicked and go to all of those different ones here, and found the one that I was looking for, and boom, I checked off in the section where it says you can check that off here. I'm not going to do this here, but I want to go to this one here, Battery Life / the UK Sound here. And then you can add to collection, and that's what I was doing. And then it hit me. I was like, well, this is all good and well, but how do I get a checklist for everything? So I was able to go to the label itself. So we go to this. We're just going to go back here if I can. I have a little difficulty going back to some of these things here. And I went to the label itself, and I was able to go to all the 12 inches. See, so I go to all the, see, there's 1,435 copies on Discogs for this particular label here, but I want to go to find a format. We go to 12-inch, which we have already done here, and then I just want to go to all the 12 inches that have that record design there. So what I have done on my quote want list here is marked off things and check marked them off that I've already purchased those. And then I said, okay, for the one particular label and the other particular label I'm collecting here, there were, and I may have, gotten a little issue here, because there's some that are almost say duplicate listings, but there's some that are essentially the same. One of them will say remixes and the other one will not. Some of them will be the exact same thing. You'll try to figure out what the difference is, and there may not be a difference. It just might be a duplicate post there, don't know. But essentially there's 140 of the one titles that I'm looking for, of the 12-inch, and then there's 40. So now at least I have a number. I didn't know if I was looking for 100 or 1,000 different titles. Now that I have it pared down here, I've got 6 or 7 titles right there, you say, okay, here's my big number, and this is what I can strive for. Now, again, a lot of these titles were 2000, you look at the thing here, and there were some years that they were just putting out stuff, cranking out stuff. 2009, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is the Anjuna Deep Severius here, and they put out numerous ones in 2009. They really, here's some 2016 titles here. Again, I don't know what these. Oh, these means that I guess that means that that's one in my collection. So now I can go to this major entire list here, and anything that's marked in green means that I have those, So Eunice Hamo Cocktail Bar, I'm not exactly sure why it's marked twice here. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Hopefully I have marked it twice here. It's possible that I did. So I have to double check. See, this one says 4 versions and this one says 2 versions. Click on the 2 versions one, 12-inch here, that one, and it says ANJDE 25 and ANJDE 25. So, and then here is the same thing here, and it says I have that one there. I'm confused at why there's. I need to figure out how to. I guess I can collapse that now and collapse this one now too. So there's that one there. So I got to figure out if they automatically put me in both categories or just the one. That I don't know. But I have the micro cassette one there, and I'll see if there's any other bookmarked ones here. JTech Spacelift, I almost bought that one, but it was from a seller in Germany, and I didn't want to mess with that. So again, there's a lot of these things that are available technically at, sometimes in my price range. So I have also made a note here that I want to look for things only under $40. Not that I would pay $40, but every once in a while you come up with one that's $40 that's like normally, $100, and maybe it's because there's a kink in the cover, or maybe somebody just wants it gone, maybe it's because that they're selling it in the United States that they feel that it's not going to sell as well, so they want it also gone. Again, so you have to kind of do your homework there, making sure everything, the seller is all legit and everything. But there's an awful lot of titles there. Again, there's some other titles like this one here, this Lakau Mizik. I'll show that one to you here. And I don't know if it says anything about the cover here, but it doesn't show the cover here. See, it only shows the white label here. That's probably a white label promo is what my guess is here. And it doesn't show anything else. It just shows the vinyl and just against a black cover, and I had to stay away from those, even though it's the label I want. Now, if for some reason this was only $5, I might grab it, but it's not one that's on my list. I have to have a starting point. If for some reason the ones that I'm collecting were very easy to come by and I got all of them at once, I might go through my collection and just purge some of those other ones there. Have a small, little, nice, curated, cohesive collection with the very similar labels here. Again, some of them are white, different shades of brown and blues and greens. And then we go to the other label here. I want to go back to here if I can get to it here. So we go to Anjuna Beats here, and this is just an example I like to use all the time because I like to also show my progress of working on labels that I'm currently collecting. I've been there, done that with many other records, and because I've been collecting since the 90s, literally. So we want to go to find a format here. And we're already to 12-inch, so that's good here. And again, they have very similar looking covers here. I've seen Carry Skipper with different color variations, so I have to be very careful. Now, I don't know if both of them are available to the public. I'd have to maybe zoom in on this one here for you. But that's more or less what that one looks like there. But I think I saw that in a different color, so you have to be kind of careful. I have very few of the Beats ones. They seem to be a little more less easy to get, and I think I showed you one of those. And mine, unfortunately, was not as super interesting. I think mine was a gray cover, maybe. I didn't have one of these, nice, more color-covered ones there. But, interesting. I also seen these in mosaic tile form. So somebody had done a compilation of a bunch of the titles, and they were all, it was really kind of cool looking. And I think they did that on one of their covers as well, too. Had multi-squares, like this, and with the different ones that they had released in the previous time there. But this one has 100 and, see right now, there's, let's see if I can get rid of Carry Skipper here. And then of course I'll show you what I do afterwards, and then we'll be done fairly shortly here. But again, I don't want to basically get into, what I'm trying to do is get myself out of the rut of buying like gobs and gobs of records, if that makes sense. Some of these things have been edited by different people and stuff added to it, months ago, so relatively recently. But this one has for me, it has 140 titles that I'm looking for, because there's one right there, and there's some other ones that I would like to have. There's an Ocean Lab one, Clear Blue Water, the remixes. I might like to get that one there, but it's not one of the titles I do have, and it's an Ocean Lab featuring Justine Suissa, Clear Blue Water. I do have that one. There's a green mark there, so I've marked that one there. So some of those releases I will pick up later on, but they're hundreds of dollars. Some of these releases are even close to $1,000, if you can believe that, for a record from the mid-2000s. But yeah, here's, you know, various EP 1, 2, and 3, and so those are not 12 inches necessarily, but they have the same cover art there. So I wrote down 12 inch on my list there for all intents and purposes, but I want to get all 4 of those, you know. And then, like I said, there's 140 with the same dust jacket artwork that I'm collecting. This is a good archive for me to know, because I didn't know, out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of releases, which ones had, you know, physical releases. And that's what every collector dreads, is trying to figure out all the, a few years ago, it was the digital baseball cards versus the non-digital baseball cards. And I was trying to figure out how to filter all those out of my results, because I wanted the cheapest cards. Then eBay decided that they were not going to show you many of the cheapest results and show you only 160. And then you did a mixed up result there and you get like 573 instead of 160. It was really dreadful and awful, because eBay said, we're just going to show you what we want to show you, not what you think you need to be shown, or something crazy to that effect there. But there's a whole string of those, because in 2008 they were doing a lot of stuff there. But again, this is back in 2008, where records were not a super big deal. That's why some of these releases are very expensive, because nobody thought about grabbing these. Just a few people in the industry trade that were grabbing these sort of things for their business, what have you. But there's strings of these things, you know, because the numbers, there's 2007, and we go all the way back down to the earliest one here. So we have, I think, we don't quite have this sorted by date here, but we get to about 2000 here. Ocean Lab is another popular one. Ocean Lab, it gets thousands and thousands of views on YouTube. They get a lot of popular press. Excuse me here. So that is how I do that there. And then, of course, if I want to go and find something, so there's 3,237 copies here. We want to hit shop now here. And then what we want to do is go here. So we're in the shop now, all versions here. And then we want to just do the United States. So we want to do the United States. So out of the 1,000... what was it? Oh, I don't know. Out of the 3,241, there's only 304 titles in the United States. And then out of those, there's only 227 vinyl records. So click that one. And we want to keep everything that is available to us. We do not want to go back to 12 inch. And again, some of the listings from whatever people have put together are not accurate. So I want to make sure that I get everything. So now we have 227 that we can look at here. And now the first one we have is this ever popular Bart Clayson and Dave Sheeman Madness 12 inch here. It's only $7, but it's a cover art only. There's no record there. So if I just want a cover, but I've seen that record like $300 or more. Do I want to pay $12 for a banged up cover? It says it's in really bad condition. Has seam wear in good shape, and has ring wear as well too. So that I don't know. And the chances I'll ever find one that does not have its cover are practically zero. Then there's another one for $69. You can see that. And so what we want to do is and there's a whole string of them here. And you know, this one is $63, $56, $73, and $50. So again, I basically want to do something here and say I just want to keep them up to $40. So we want to go to, well, I don't have a great example here. We'll just do 20 to 40, but because so we got 5 to 10, there's 2, 5 to 15 to 20, there's 5, and we'll just go there the 15 to 20. I wanted to do it to 0 to 40 here, but we've got nitrous oxide amnesia, and that's what I'm looking for here, right here. But unfortunately, as nice as that cover is, that's a Discogs supplied image, and that's not their image, and it's a generic cover. So it might have had that cover at one time and now is lost. And you have to be careful. It's not showing you a picture of the label either. So is it the label that I'm collecting or something else? You know, somebody might have put it in wrong in the computer there. And then we have Rollerball. This is $20. And then we have Stephen J. Cruz Phantasmas. So I have I have sadistic and not phantasmus optimistic. So very, very close there. So that's $21.25 for that one. And this one sadly also has a generic cover. So that is not what I want. We go back to this one here. And again, so, you know, out of these, there's 38, 5, and 2. So out of that 38, I might have closer to 15 titles to search for. eBay is a little different. We will not go to eBay because we're already at 20 minutes here. We'll just go here. And eBay, things may not be listed as like the catalog titles of this one. So I can type in certain things, and that could be too much information, and I can lose those. But again, see, we've got one that's $31.99 plus, so basically almost $40, $38 right there for a formalistic, not optimistic and not sadistic, so that's very close there. And then we have one that's, okay, remember, I think that's a reissue, so a repress or reissue. Then we have the sadistic there for $25, and I already have that one. But it's not marked here as I already have it, so I have to go back to my checklist and double check before I buy them. And again, we go down here. We have Jono Grant versus Mike Coughlin, and that's $30 plus $6. That's actually the first time I have noticed that one there. And good sleeve condition VG Plus and very good condition VG Plus. So that hits all the benchmarks for being under $40. It's at the top of my mark being $36 because I would like things to be $20 to $25. And again, people call me cheap, but again, when you're buying records such as this kind of thing, you have to be. You just can't just throw... you have to throw caution to the wind here. Super 8 is $31.99 plus shipping, which comes out to $40.49. So that is now over my $40 benchmark there, sadly, but that got mixed in there somehow. $45.98 there for nitrous oxide. Again, those are up there, and again, they're still under $50. If I was up, there's 8 Wonders here. This is $24.99, $30.98, so that's a good one there. Again, has no skips, and it has but not unbearable noise spots. This would be a great play copy for about DJ if it weren't for some marks on the record. I got a little whistle there in my throat. I don't know why. And a few others here, so on and so forth. I have not noticed this one before, but again, it's at the higher end of my spectrum, $38.20 for Endre, Calliope or something like that. I don't know that one. There's Ocean Lab, clear blue water 12-inch. I already have that one, so there's no reason for me to go be looking at that one again. And so on and so forth, you get the idea. And again, you always need to make sure, but see, this one has a bright yellow cover here. And then the author, the person that put it for sale says comes in a generic sleeve. If you have a label from this particular company that has that on there, that should tell you that corresponds usually to the sleeve on the outer side. The color on the label is the color on the sleeve. And so that would give you an idea that you've got the wrong sleeve or a generic sleeve or something that's misaligned there. So that's pretty much the video. I don't know why I'm breathing for air and hissing or whistling. I need something to drink or something. Excuse me. So that is my video. I know it's not for everybody going through a label that nobody cares about, because I'm so sick of Beatles and Stones. Everybody is just using other examples of some sort of garage band or ancient psych rock or something from some old days. And I want to do it a perspective from a collector that does not get any press, no pun intended, on the dreaded YouTube. I gotta get rid of this freaking whistle. It's driving me crazy. So hope you enjoyed that aside from the whistle, and thank you for watching.